So we are here on Saturday, October 18th, downtown Houston, Texas at Discovery Green Park. There's a few hundred people here gathered, preparing to march to City Hall. And I'll be doing some interviews, talking to people. Let's check out the scene. Okay, can you tell me a little bit about why you're here and why you chose to dress as a handmaid?
So I'm here because I was born here. My family has been long generations here in Texas, specifically the Houston area. So as a community member, it is my duty to speak up when I feel like things are going wrong. So I always feel moved to be able to help in any way that I can, and I had the day off, so why not?
What would you say are the main policies and concerns you have, besides being a Texan, that brought you here?
Well, obviously with the handmaids, there's that women's rights, obviously, not for just myself, but for generations to come. Taking away abortion rights just completely cold turkey was definitely killed millions or will kill. And I need to stand up for that. So handmaids, I feel like Texas wants us to go into this dystopian fantasy that they have. So I'm showing you guys what this is going to look like in the day-to-day world. Kind of like playing Pokemon Go when you finally saw the Pokemon in the real life. It's like, hey, this is reality. This is what's going to be happening. Maybe not. Well, he already had the right colors. It's red and white.
So it's a little bit of theater to show people where you think things are headed if they continue in this direction?
If they continue this way. It's a visual representation.
Any other issues, women's rights, any other specific things that bringing you here?
I mean, when he was asking us, what do we want? I'm like, the Epstein files, rights, no ice on our streets, peace in the world, a president that can read. I mean, there's a very long list of items, just being a Texan and being a woman.
Let's zero in on the Epstein files.
Okay.
So, as a journalist, I've been writing about Jeffrey Epstein since 2016. I actually went to his house in 2019 for a documentary I filmed. To film outside, not inside. I was filming outside. I went to some of his court cases in 2019, right before he was arrested. So I've been following the case for a long time, and it's kind of trippy to see like how mainstream it's gone. From being this thing that only a few people knew, only conspiracy theorists talk about, and now is very mainstream.
It never should have been a conspiracy theory.
Exactly. I agree. That's why, the more you look at it, you're like, why are people not talking about this?
Because who's the king of conspiracy theories? Have you put that together?
So, let's get there. So, some people, let's say, I want you to hear an argument from people who are critical of this march, right? And to hear somebody say the Epstein files, they might say, well, why do people care about it now? Whether Republicans or Democrat, why didn't people care before? Because what I'm trying to get at, some people try to make Epstein a partisan issue. They say Democrats don't care. They're just doing it to, take jabs at Trump. And Trump obviously isn't going to do anything about it. But before he got in office, they sure talked a lot about it like they were going to do. So what are your thoughts on that? Like, should it be a partisan issue? Is that just,
No, definitely. This should be something that can unite us. I mean, child molestation, I think we can all agree that's not how we want our company represented. Kate Johnson was only 13, and nobody hurt her. Why?
What are your thoughts on her case being dropped at the last minute? For those who don't know, her case in 2016, which was presented against Donald Trump and accusing him of rape, she was supposed to do a press conference and it was canceled. The whole lawsuit was dropped at the last minute. So some people say that's because there's no merit. Others say she was scared. Do you have any thoughts on that?
The power of the numbers. I mean, you look at how many people have already admitted or come forward. In such a case like this, if you're lying, you're gonna get it from the public, right? So it's going to be a very I just believe in the power of numbers. We should just believe the women, follow them. Let's prove them right or wrong, but they deserve to be heard and they deserve to be investigated.
Do you think all the different related Epstein files should come out regardless of who they name, what political party, anything?
I don't care. If my father's on the list, bye.
Gotcha. One last question. Do you think the Republican Party, or more broadly the American right, conservatives, or maybe some people who use that label, would you use the label authoritarian to describe some of their actions, or let's say specifically the Trump government?
I am the wrong person to probably ask this because my father was a police officer and naturally authoritarian, so I have a biased opinion.
Well, I'm still curious about your opinion. I know, obviously we all got our biases, but, just in general, do you think the Trump government is authoritarian? They're using authority to enforce their will?
Absolutely, absolutely. The use of force on look, we have inflatable axolotls and frogs, women, babies, dogs. It's so scary. Why is the National Guard being called out? That's not something a peacetime president would execute.
I agree. And Houston is generally a city that doesn't get rowdy one way or the other. Places like Portland and other cities might get more. Houston tends to be chill historically. What do you say to those who say, well, the frogs aren't the problem, it's the people trying to block ICE trucks or throwing things at ICE or Molotov cocktails?
I'm sure both sides have their faults, right? But if you look at all the videos, not just Fox, maybe look at something foreign, look at the BBC, look at what other countries are broadcasting on their networks, and I guarantee you the amount of discrepancy between the force done on one side versus the other, it's going to be grand. I'm seeing more and more ICE attacking just a reporter, just like you, doing everything. A woman reporter, the Australian woman reporter, I saw that one. I saw how they just tackled one guy just for standing in the street.
They're starting to profile Americans based on skin color. They've arrested a few people and said, whoops, my bad, you're American, sorry.
And then they laugh about it and they're like, well, we just made your life a living hell for the last 3 days, ha 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 ha.
I agree with you for all those reasons that whatever label we want to give it, most specifically the Trump government is authoritarian. I'm also a person that tends to believe that both sides have authoritarian tendencies in different ways for different issues, right?
But who's president now?
Yeah, exactly. And so to me, though, for example, some people who are Trump supporters, which there's some in my audience, but not the majority, but some of them are going to hear this and their response might be like, well, in their eyes, the government's response under Biden or some Democrat regimes during COVID with lockdowns and mandates and some countries, not the U.S., but quarantine camps, some of these things, that they consider that to be authoritarian. And so I've heard some of these people, they say, oh, well, they're saying all this stuff about Trump, but where were they whenever the left-wing governments are saying, it's kind of a tit-for-tat thing, but what do you think about that? Are both sides capable of authoritarian or
They're both capable. We got to think about what the purpose is behind it. With COVID, the purpose behind it was to prevent illnesses from spreading versus you being the one spreading the hate. So the purpose behind having to use those force, and we got to understand as Americans, every single president that we put behind the desk, they're going to have the keys to the nuclear codes. They're going to have the ways to the military. We gave them that power. We have to choose who we trust with it, and it looks like Houston
violating the Constitution, though, and kind of just and that's not necessarily something we gave or that he's even legally supposed to do, but obviously the courts aren't doing anything about it. So that's kind of why I mean, whether we're talking about war and drone bombs under Obama or Trump bombing boats, both sides are capable of saying, screw the Constitution, screw international law, we're going to do whatever we want because it's terrorists or it's gang members or it's cartel leaders, and kind of tossing the Constitution aside. And I think that's what really worries me is, because I agree with all the issues here, I don't think the solution is to go back and forth between the two teams and assume we're going to get a better world. I think it's just not going to be that simple.
The guide to me was when you have two sides ping-ponging back and forth, yes, it's not immediate change. We do get relief or non-relief every 4 years within a cycle, but then when you add it up over generations, that pull and tug eventually will develop into the greater good, what we can all agree on, hopefully.
Just take some time to get there.
But the people have to be united if we really want our government to be our voice.
I mean, would you say the U.S. seems like a united country right now at this point? Like in your lifetime, you don't have to tell me older, but in your lifetime, have you ever felt more division like this? Or do you think this is...
This is the closest, like, you know, you learn about in history school about the Civil War, how could brother turn against brother? And I'm like, oh, this is how. Okay, so I feel like I'm living in history right now, which is a strange feeling. So yes, I do feel we are more divided over the last few years than I was when I was a kid or even a teenager or in my college days.
So last question, with that division in mind, what would you say to somebody who supports Trump? And I know there's a lot of things you could say, but in the interest of that unity, like, do you have any message to somebody who might be hearing this, who maybe completely disagrees with everything we said here? How could you reach them on any issue or one issue? What would that be?
Watch foreign news. I mean, it really is that easy. Just turn off the one channel you watch. Stop brainwashing yourself. Stop being willfully ignorant of what's going on, because if you were fully aware of everything that's going on, you would be pissed. You really would. You would be up here with us. And we should come together on bipartisan issues.
Since 2012, the Conscious Resistance Network has been an independent media organization focused on empowering individuals through education, philosophy, health, and community organizing. We work to create a world where corporate and state power do not rule over the lives of free human beings. Our motto is leading by example and helping others in their pursuit of freedom. Visit theconsciousresistance.com to find our articles, documentaries, interviews, podcasts, books, and more. Remember, you are powerful, you are beautiful, and you are free.